All right, we're gonna do the patella tendon taping here. So, first thing I'm gonna do, so this is the cover roll stretch, and this is gonna go underneath. So I'm gonna put my knee in position. So here's straight. I'm gonna flex it about 30 degrees. Makes it easiest to place everything on. So first thing I'm gonna do is get a strap that's long enough to wrap more than half of the circumference. I want a pretty nice chunk here. So I'm gonna measure it out, put my finger on the line where I want it, cut it here. And the cover roll tape has a tendency to roll up on you, makes it hard to tape it, so I'm gonna straighten it out a little bit first. Okay. So this cover roll stretch tape can go on pretty loose. It doesn't have to be, like, it should go on loose. You don't really want to make it really tight. So I'm just gonna place it. I'll point out a little more specific on where I'm putting it exactly here once I put on the Luco tape. So I'm just gonna put it on kind of loose. My next strip of tape. It's perfect size, so I don't need to cut it. Straighten it out too. All right, so I'm gonna get this cover roll tape on both sides. And again, it's still just gonna be kind of loose. So now I should have a full circle around my entire knee. Now the location that we're going for is patella tendon. So it's gonna be, I'll find my patella. So my patella stops right here. It's just a nice big bony part. It's easier to find when your knee is a little bit bent. And then you want it, basically you just put it right underneath where the patella ends, where that tendon's gonna be. But the tendon is between the patella and what's called the tibial tuberosity. So if you have your patella ends right here, all you gotta do is just go down. So I put my thumb here, it's about a thumb's width. And then you'll find like another kind of small bony prominence. That's where your tibia is, or your shin. So the tendon runs right between there. So you just wanna make sure the tape lands between there. But really the easiest is just to put it right underneath where the patella is. Okay, so now I've got my Luco tape, the brown tape. So this is the real tape. This is the what's going to be sticky and what holds. So you want this tape to go only over the cover tape, not on your skin if possible. If it gets on your skin, it's not the end of the world, but it just sometimes is rough to try to take it off straight from the skin. So what I usually like to do is take it out. Here's the sticky side, the non-sticky side. And I'll put the non-sticky side around it just to measure it. And again, I want it to be, this first piece, I want it to be a little over half the circumference of where I'm going around on my knee. So that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna cut that here. Now here's the crucial part of how it's gonna make it effective. You're gonna take this tape and you're gonna make it really tight, stretch it hard on both sides. So I'm gonna put it right in the middle, right where the tendon is, and then I'm gonna pull hard each direction. So it should be really tight going each way. Nice, just like that. Now I'm gonna do a second piece of tape. It should just be big enough to cover the end on both sides of the brown tape. So I want it to cover on this side and to cover on this side. That looks pretty good. The second piece, you want it to be tight, but you don't need to pull it as tight as I did that first piece. Because then it can sometimes feel too tight on the back of the knee if you pull this one really tight. But you want it to be, you don't want it to be incredibly loose either. So I'm just gonna give it a slight pull, make sure it's tight. And then you can do actually as many layers as you want on this front piece. The more layers, usually the more support you give it. I find most people benefit well from 2 layers on this front piece. So then I'll do a smaller piece. You don't need to do one that's over half the circumference again. So I'll just do a small piece that's probably like 1/3 of the circumference. I'm gonna cut that here. And then the same strategy we used with the first one. I'm gonna line it up so that it's right on the middle. Then I'm gonna pull really tight back both sides. Boom, that's it. So you can play with it with the angle at which you find the most benefit from. That's usually where I find it easiest to tape and people still get really good benefit, is having your knee at like 30 degrees of flexion. But you might find that you get more benefit if you bend it further back, or if you just keep it all the way straight when you tape it. I'd recommend starting with 30 degrees of knee flexion. That's how we did it when we first did yours. But then let me know how it's feeling, how it's going. We can make little minor tweaks if you feel like it's not supporting as much as you want to make sure that you're getting a little bit more support. Let me know if you have any questions. See you then.